Welcome to another episode of The Roar. My name is Caden Martz. It's normally seen as your host of The Den, our sports podcast, but today we're switching it up. And I'm here with Gigi Decesare, our editor. Gigi, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's been a long day.
It has indeed been a long day. Here at FSPA,
yes.
There's some stuff to celebrate.
First time for me. First time for you?
Second time for me,
Second
actually.
Time for you, okay.
But I'd say it's a lot more fun when you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But why don't we just get into this?
Alrighty.
So I'll give a quick background for me. I played sports all my life, but unfortunately, when you're 4'11", going into high school, you got to divot a little bit. So I went into talking about sports.
Yeah.
Did broadcasting. Currently the sports producer for Roar TV, our news network, and this is my first year in journalism, and I've honestly enjoyed it. What about you, Gigi?
So for me, I've also been in sports my whole life, but I also love to write sports, and I joined staff sophomore year, and now I'm editor-in-chief of our online news site, ovjournalism.com. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to learn more.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as I came in, Gigi's obviously younger than me, but she has so much more experience in this field. And I didn't really know too much about the whole writing thing. And obviously it can be a lot on your plate sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
You work very hard in this field, but I do see how it affects you. And I can tell it's very satisfying when you get that story done. What does that feel like, when you've been working hard on a story and it finally gets done?
Yeah, so the first story I ever wrote was actually at CSPA. That's where I learned how to write, summer of my freshman year. And I got to take this kid who I had just met and find the most just random thing about him that made him special, because everyone has something about them that really does make them special. What's so important about journalism is that you're taking people that they may have been under the radar, they may have been doing something that's not as known as, say, Friday Night Lights with football.
Yeah.
But you get to show what really does make them special, because everyone has it. And that just really inspired me to stick with it and to join journalism. Caden, what was it for you? What's kept you going?
So obviously I enjoy doing broadcasting, and when I joined this class, it was very nerve-wracking. But writing the stories, it was fun, and one of the main things I was nervous for is doing interviews, and I didn't know how to do them. You can attest to this. I was in the class. I was like, what do I do? What do I say? How do I email? The emails. I was so worried about the emails, but I think what made the interviews so easy is when I got interviewed. I've only been interviewed once, but it was this person, never met him before, and he came up to me, pulled me out of class. He's like, so what goes through your head when you're wrestling? At the time, I was a 10 and 15. I was a junior. I was not anything special, right, at wrestling. When he asked me that, I felt important. I felt like I mattered, not just to the sport, not just to myself, but to the entire school.
Got to relive that moment,
yes,
right?
Yes, exactly. And I get to go back to my best moments when I'm wrestling, what's going through my head. And just seeing how that made me feel, even, it makes it so much easier to interview other people. And it not to toot my own horn, but I can see it expressed through my work. When I know what it's doing to other people to ask them about themselves, everyone likes to talk about themselves. Everyone does.
Everyone.
So I try to, pull the best out of people, and they enjoy it, and I can tell they enjoy it.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of one of my most favorite stories to write last year was a story of how flag football. We started a girls flag football program at Oviedo. It was their first year, and this team came out and just absolutely killed it. I think they went 5-0 their first season as a completely started from scratch program with players that just got thrown together. And getting to interview Kiara, who was 5th in the nation for sacks last year, it was just so special to me. And now that I'm actually on the team and she's my teammate, I'm like, dude, do you remember that? You were so joyful about it, and you just were so excited that you had made this history, and it was just a great feeling.
Yeah, I genuinely do love how it makes people feel, but I also love the knowledge it gives to not only us but everyone out there. I mean, we see that our stories get read because we put the work in, and we learn just as much as our viewers and our listeners do. When we write about things, we obviously do our research, and as a sports writer and a sports producer, I have to go film things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
When I'm told to go do water polo on a Friday night, my first thought isn't that's exactly what I want to do. That's not everyone's first thought. But I went to that game. Water polo is now one of my favorite sports to watch.
Yeah.
Didn't know about it. Didn't know it was going to be that exciting. Learned how difficult it is. Now, not only can I appreciate what they do
From afar.
From afar. Oh yeah, no, I could not float. But now they can appreciate that they're getting on the map, that they're being seen.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. It's a voice for the voiceless. It's just advocating for people, and it spotlights these activities and these sports who are otherwise not seen as important. Like,
yeah, and it's not even just sports. I know I get caught up, always talking about sports, but we look at other things like art, politics, like passion projects, anything that matters to a community.
Oviedo parades.
Oviedo
parades
like
in Oviedo.
Oviedo, our city where we're from.
Yes.
It's a special town, and you wouldn't know that from afar.
No,
but when you let
not.
journalists and broadcasters go out, tell the stories, that's when you get to see how special a town really is.
That's to me the point of student journalism, is to be that voice. And I don't know, I'm really excited to be here seeing 1,500 other students who want to be that for someone, who want to be that voice for someone. I just think that's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, half the people that join any journalism class are looking for an easy A.
Yep.
And you see, sometimes they stick that way, but when you go to these conventions where you see everyone here is passionate about what they do, you really don't find many other activities other than student journalism where people want to create the best product, not just to be successful, but to see their own success.
And not just to win, but to see a good story, not just to win awards, but to see a good story like through the finish line and know, dang, like I did that. And they get to read about it. It's a great feeling. Love it.
Yeah. Obviously, thank you guys for listening. We love doing this. We love bringing you guys entertainment. Please check out all our podcasts and everything at oviedojournalism.com.
oviedojournalism.com.
Yeah, thank you.